Hey guys, Ravedge here, and today's vid is going to be the first vid of a new, well, I guess you could say updated series of my Intro to Windwalker Monk PvP guides. I'm going to be going ahead and remaking that whole series because of the simple fact that so much has changed for monks since the launch of MOP, and especially with 5.2, that a lot of the information stated before is now out of date and isn't necessarily the best choice for a Windwalker Monk in the current state of, WoW PvP. So I'm going to go ahead and redo the whole series. This first vid is going to be an in-depth look at talents, what I pick, what I might pick for certain situations, and why. So without me babbling too much, let's get this thing started. Alright guys, now right off the bat before I go ahead and start babbling all about the talents, this is going to be specifically for Windwalker Monk PvP, so it might be different for PvE or, Brewmaster or Mistweaver, and a lot of these talents are your own preference. I'm just explaining what I pick and why, and this is mainly talking in the arena, battleground PvP point of view for me. So this is obviously a lot of, oh, if you like this, you could use this instead. So if you use something else, don't feel that, oh, I'm using something wrong or anything like that. No, because I've switched it up quite a bit, and it's mainly what I'm comfortable with. And just wanted to share with you guys what I go ahead and use. So let's go ahead and get started. Right off the bat, this level 15 talent tier is actually our, I guess you could say our mobility tier, and this has to do with our movement speed and just helping us stay mobile, because monks having roll is one of the coolest mobility perks of World of Warcraft. Now, the one I'm going to talk about that I'm actually using right now is Tiger's Lust, which is a 20-yard range, instant cast, 30-second cooldown, and instantly clears the target of all mobilizing and movement impairing effects, and increases their movement speed by 70% for 6 seconds. Now, in a nutshell, what that does is when I put the spell, which I'll just show you real quick on me, I gain a buff, and then I'm moving 70% faster. This does not keep you moving at 70% faster. It is not freedom like it is for a paladin. What this does is it just breaks it and then gives you a movement speed. So if you are reapplied another snare or slow, you will have those effects on you. This is good for quick movement speed and, breaking out of Mage's Frost Novas or Druid's Roots, because you want to stick to your target and score the kill. So this is one of those spells that you're going to love to have in your kit, but also the best thing I love about this is it's not necessarily just for you. As you saw, hey, where's that guard? Yeah, him right there. I can go ahead and give him the buff as well, as you see right there, which would then break him out of any roots or snares and give him the movement speed. This is great for in, BGs like Warsong with flag carriers, where you can just get and go ahead and put that on a person and they will get the movement speed and move right across the map. So it does not make you drop the flag either. Some people thought that maybe it would, like the rocket boots. It does not make you drop the flag. You just go ahead and move quicker. So if they get rooted, you pop that, they run LOS, whatnot, especially in arena too. You go ahead and stun some targets with a, Fist of Fury or something, and then give your healer that move and let him run away. That can help save his life. So that's Tiger's List, and that's what I'm currently using. I'll go ahead and show you the other two as well. The next one I'm going to show you is Celerity, and what this does is it makes your roll and your Chi Torpedo, stacks, up to 3, and reduces the cooldown by 5 seconds, so it recharges quicker. So this is just mainly meaning you get more rolls more often. So, as you saw right there, I can do 1, 2, 3. And it's now on cooldown. So that is pretty cool with the mobility part. This is one that I would suggest maybe using for leveling. Because, moving across, especially if you start level 1, roll is one of your quickest mobility items to help you get to a quest giver quicker, whatnot like that. So Celerity is something I did use while leveling, but another one that should not be overlooked is Momentum. Momentum's readout is every time you roll or Chi Torpedo, your movement speed is increased by 25% for 10 seconds and stacks up to 2 times. So you could have a 50% movement speed for 10 seconds. So how that would look is roll once, got 25%. Roll again, got 50%. So this for leveling is really nice too, because you do gain a movement speed as well. But if you're someone that just likes it to be off cooldown quicker, Celerity might be your first choice. Now, the only reason I don't use this necessarily for PvP is because of the simple fact that if I want the speed boost, I have to waste both my rolls. Sometimes you might want to save it for when a mage might blink, and if, you already used both of them to be able to gain the speed boost, well, he's going to get away because you don't have a roll to catch up to him. Plus, Tiger's Lust, I like being able to put it on other people, so that's why I use Tiger's Lust in place of Momentum or Celerity. But as in leveling, those two are very good options as well. The next tier, the level 30 tier, is the heals in a sense. I'm going to talk about the other ones first, and then I'll explain why I use Chi Wave. The first one, I'm going to start with the Kamehameha, or Chi Burst. Chi Burst is a 40-yard range, and it's a 1-second cast on a 30-second cooldown. And what it does is it summons a torrent of Chi energy and hurls it at the target, meaning it will do damage to anyone it hits and passes through, and it will heal allies that it goes through as well. This is not a target someone and click spell clack. It's one of those where you have to actually like point the direction and aim it. Why did I just unlearn that? Oops. So put that in my toolbar, and what this means is then I have to be aiming myself towards it. If I'm aiming right here, yeah, I'm targeting this guy. It's not going to go flying in the path like this and hit him. It will point wherever I'm at. So this is something you have to aim. So like right here, I'll show you what it looks like. So it kind of looks like a Kamehameha. And it did do 34k damage, and it does heal me, guaranteed every time. But the fact that matters, it is a cast, which, you know, does kind of stop your damage. It does, if you read the actual spell, it does not stop your dodging, parrying, or auto-attacking. That keeps going as well. So it's it's something that could be used. The simple fact of the matter is, for me, it's a 30-second cooldown, which makes it a little too long. I can't change it. Yep, there we go. Okay, 30 seconds. Alright, the next one I'm going to talk about is Zen Sphere. Zen Sphere is a 40-yard range, instant cast, 10-second cooldown. It forms a Zen Sphere above the target, healing the target for 2,300 and dealing 2,800 damage to enemies within 10 yards of the target every 2 seconds for 16 seconds. Only 2 Zen Spheres can be summoned at one time. If the target of the Zen Sphere reaches 35% or lower health, or if the Zen Sphere is dispelled or expires, it will detonate, dealing 11,400 nature damage and 6,000 healing in an AoE effect within 10 yards. So what this looks like is this. As you see, I have the buff, and I have this floating sphere above me that's healing for 2,600 every time and doing damage around 3k. It's a really weak heal. It did get nerfed in 5.2. But as in leveling, I think this is a great choice because of the simple fact that it's a hot and it's free to put up and you can keep it up. It's a 10-second cooldown and the hot lasts for 16 seconds. So in a sense, I can actually do this to 2 people. So I could go me and let's say Bald Human over here. Come on, gotta wait for it to get off cooldown. There you go, now we both have them. So that is kind of cool to be able to do both like that, but at the same time, it's not that great of a heal. So as in level 90 PvP, I would not use Zen Sphere. I would definitely use Chi Wave instead. Now, what is Chi Wave, you may ask? Chi Wave is a 40-yard range instant cast, 15-second cooldown, and the spell readout is you cause a wave of Chi energy to flow through friend and foe, dealing 14,000 nature damage or 11,600 healing, bouncing up to 7 times to the nearest target within 20 yards. When bouncing to allies, Chi Wave will prefer those injured over full health. What that means is it is a smart heal. Whoever has the lower health pool and is in range, the heal portion of it will go to that person. So you can't really control it on that part, but if you're doing it to try and save yourself or someone, whoever is the lowest health, you usually want to keep that person alive, so it's not too bad. Now what this spell looks like is actually what he just did right there. I'll show you up close to the target. Red is damage, green is healing. So the red Chi Wave out, and then the green Chi Wave in was healing. Now as in healing output, if you just saw how much it actually did, it does heal the most out of all 3 of them. And the simple fact of the matter is it's only a 15-second cooldown, but by the time it's done bouncing its heal, it's only around a 10-second cooldown and can do quite a bit. So if I'm this close to it, let's just show you how, read the healing numbers. It'll be green on my portrait. So I got 15,000, 30,000, 15,000, 15,000. So that's 45, that's 75,000 healing right there that quickly. And it's almost off cooldown again. The problem is with this spell, if you are really far away, it will not bounce that much. It will not bounce the heal if you're out of range of it. So see how slow it is? Boom. And that was it. That's all it's going to do. So that's something that like you need to make sure you're closer. Just like he was, it does heal that much, just like that. So as in healing tier, I'm going to definitely say Chi Wave is the way to go. The next one is the level 45, which is kind of your Chi generation tier. The first talent I'm going to show you is Power Strikes. Every 20 seconds, you gain power strikes, causing your next jab, soothing mist, or crackling jade lightning to generate 1 additional chi. If you're already at max chi, a chi sphere will be summoned near you. Now, what this means is, like, you'll gain a buff that will actually look like exactly what the talent is. Mine should pop up any second now. There it is. Power strikes, and it tells you exactly what's going to happen. So when I go up, normally I would only gain 2 chi, but since I'm using power strikes, I'm going to gain 3 chi right away. See? And then I could go straight into a Fist of Fury. Now, the fact of the matter is, why would you ever use this talent? It's great for leveling. In my mind, this is one of the best things to use for leveling because, you know, you roughly, with leveling gear especially, you'll kill something and then, oh look, you got power strikes again. It's just helping your chi generation, and if you are at max chi when it, you know, pops up and gets used, you just get a chi sphere on the ground, so then once you're out of chi, you can run over it and you'll gain it. So, that's something that's pretty cool. Let's say hello. So yeah, power strikes is what I use for leveling, but I feel there are better things for level 90 PvP. The next one I'm going to show you is Chi Brew. Chi Brew is an actual like cooldown you have to use, and what it does is it instantly restores all of your chi. And it's a 1.5 minute cooldown, and that is where it becomes a little bit of a problem for me. What this mainly is telling you is the simple fact that, okay, I could go right now do a Rising Sun kick, Blackout kick, and then use Chi Brew, and then Fist of Fury, all back to back to back, no problem. So, let's go ahead and show what it would look like. As you saw, I just did all 3 of those spells back to back to back, real quickly. And that did a lot of damage. So it does have, it's more of a burst potential thing, as in arena settings and whatnot. But the fact of the matter is, for me, the fact that it's a 1.5 minute cooldown just makes it a little bit less appealing for me compared to Ascension. So, as in leveling, I would say you go Power Strikes or Chi Brew. If you like having the burst potential, Chi Brew is definitely great to use. But if you like, I guess you could say, excuse me, standard, not standard, but like just, you know, yeah, standard, easy damage flow and whatnot, Ascension would be the way to go, and I'll explain why. It's going to have to be on cooldown for a little bit, but I'll go ahead and read the Ascension spell readout. What Ascension does is it increases your maximum chi by 1, your maximum mana by 15%, and your energy regen by 15%. The maximum mana part is for Mistweavers, obviously. So I think you have like 345,000 mana when you use this talent, which that's what I use whenever I'm healing as well, because 1 extra chi doesn't hurt as well either. So the next big thing for me is the energy regen by 15%. With us, Healing Spheres is one of our best heals for just spam healing. It is 40 energy, and us being able to regen it quicker, we're able to spam this a lot more, because 3 spheres is not going to heal you back to full, but it can do quite a bit. But when you have dots on you, sometimes you just want to be LOS spamming this to kind of heal yourself up. And honestly, being able to spam it more would be that much better. So I'm going to go ahead and show you with Ascension. As you saw, instantly gain 1 more chi. So, being able to spam Healing Spheres LOS is one of the best parts about it, but also the fact that you have 5 chi. If I have a full chi bar, I know that I can simply go up to something and do a Rising Sun kick straight into a Fist of Fury for max damage output of those 2 spells without having to jab again to gain the extra chi, because Rising Sun kick is 2 chi and Fist of Fury is 3 chi. So, let's go ahead and show what I'm talking about with that. Okay, Rising Sun kick, Fist of Fury. Yeah, and if my Fist of Fury did that much damage every time, that'd be pretty awesome. So, yeah, that's the actual main part I love about Ascension, but also the energy regen is amazing. So, you're gonna be able to spam jab more often and keep up your chi. You're gonna be able to spam your heals more, you know, Expel Harm, Healing Sphere, you know, stuff like that. Hold on. Okay. That actually is pretty good, 63% resil. Next thing is level 60. The next tier is kind of, I guess, our CC tier, you could say. The first one I'm going to talk about real quick is Ring of Peace. Ring of Peace was a new spell added in 5.2, and it's a 40-yard range, 45-second cooldown. And what it does is it forms a sanctuary around the friendly target, causing all nearby enemies within 8 yards to be disarmed and nearby enemy players unable to auto-attack. In addition, enemies who cast a harmful spell within the ring become silenced for 3 seconds. Ring of Peace lasts for 8 seconds. What that means in a major nutshell is, when I put this spell up, which it looks like this. Anything caught in this little bubble is disarmed. Okay, as you see right here, these would have been disarmed. And also, if they cast a harmful spell, you know, Shadow Word Pain or Vampiric Touch or Unstable Affliction, they'd be silenced for 3 seconds. Now, the reason this spell is great is because not only does it disarm the target, it also makes them unable to auto-attack. Because when you're disarmed, you still auto-attack, so you're still doing some damage, but not a lot. That prevents it altogether. Not to mention that this disarm is not a debuff disarm that has a countdown. If I'm to grapple weapon someone, they will be disarmed for 8 seconds, and it would count down 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, like that. However, with this spell's layout, it doesn't work like that. If they are in the sphere, they are just disarmed. Flat out disarmed. So this is an 8-second AoE disarm if used properly. This will be great on using for defensive or offensive. If you want to be able to say, hey, you stop doing some damage so I can do some damage, this is definitely worth using. And when used properly, I think this will be one of the best tools in a monk's kit for arena especially. Because of the simple fact that, like Tiger's Lust, this is not only cast on you. This can be cast on other people. This could be put on other arena partners, BG people, whatnot. When this comes off cooldown, I'll see if I could go ahead and do it to Bald Human before he disappears. He's going to go grind some BGs. Sorry if I've been ignoring you, Bald, if you're watching this vid. He's a guildie of mine. He's a really good monk also. So if you see... Let's see if he sticks around. Okay, there it is. As you can see, I can put Ring of Peace on him. So that's how it looks, and he can move around just as much as I was with it, and that's what's going to make it great. You can put it on your healer if he's getting trained and stuff like that, and then he can run LOS with it and it'll stay on him. It's an awesome spell to use. So that's definitely one of the best spells of the monk utility kit now. So Ring of Peace is what I currently use now. I used to use Leg Sweep, and when I'm off cooldown able to switch talents, I'll explain why I switched and what the pros and cons were beforehand. Honestly, the biggest thing I love about Ring of Peace is the simple fact that I know if anyone casts a harmful spell on it, they're silenced, and I know that I'm disarming attack damage, you know, like rogues, warriors, Redditins, you know, stuff like that while they're in the Ring of Peace. So, Leg Sweep is a 45-second cooldown, AoE, 5-yard range, yeah, sorry about that. It's a 5-second, 5-yard range stun on a 45-second cooldown. So what this actually looks like is right there. As you saw, I just stunned both targets for 5 seconds. Now, you're probably saying, Ravedge, that's a stun. That's awesome. It is when it works. What I mean by that is this is a very, like, not buggy, but lag-dependent spell. Because of the simple fact that when I am running at a target, there are times where I am right next to him, like this, running in the same direction. And he will be right there, and I'll use my Leg Sweep, and they will not be stunned. There are other times where then, say, the target X is here, and he rolls away from me, and I'm right here, and I do my Leg Sweep, he'll be stunned. It's completely random. There are times where it has saved my butt before, and other times where I just was like, well, it failed again, and it just drives me nuts. So, as in Leg Sweep, I loved it, but I see much more uses from Ring of Peace right now. But this is a great spell to level with when NPCs are on top of you and you just want to stun them for, 5 seconds to maybe expel harm or put up a Zen Sphere or Chi Wave or, something like that. It is a great stun to have. The next one we'll talk about is Charging Oxwave. Charging Oxwave is also a stun. It's a 30-second cooldown stun, and it's a 30-yard range, but it only stuns for 3 seconds. Now, you're like, oh, 30-yard range, that's pretty awesome. Yes, but this is also like Chi Burst, where you have to point and aim. Now, the problem is with PvP is people will move, are not ever standing still, really. They're always moving or avoiding you or whatnot. So if they dodge this, it's a 30-second cooldown wasted for a stun that didn't happen. However, this can hit multiple targets. What that means is if I'm standing right here and line up and hit both of these, they will both be stunned. So I'll show you what I mean by that. Boom, both stunned 3 seconds, and it kept going for 30 yards. So that is great, and it is a 30-second cooldown. This is, if I'm not using Ring of Peace, this is what I'm probably going to use, because of the simple fact that it's something I can control, and if you're able to line up, you can hit a number of targets, and it can be devastating. So I'm using Ring of Peace. You could use whatever you want, but honestly, all these are really pretty good choices. Just Leg Sweep, the lagginess is a little too much for me. Charging Ox Wave for PvP, people who move out of the way all the time. But altogether, if you do land either one of these three, they can be really, really great for you and bad for the other people. The next tier I'm going to talk about is the kind of like our survivability tier. The first one I'm going to talk about is healing elixirs, actually. Healing elixirs is every 18 seconds you gain healing elixirs, which is a buff, just like the Power Strikes buff, that causing your next brew or tea to also heal you for 15% of your total health. What that means is every time I consume a Tiger Eye brew, with the buff up, it will give me 15% of my health back as well. Let's go ahead and build up a stack. Okay, I got a stack, and as you see, I got the healing elixirs buff right there. Let's move that off of there. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take some damage, and I'll show you how much it heals real quick. Please don't kill me. Okay. And right there, it just healed me for 56,000. 56,000 on an 18-second cooldown. So then, once 18 seconds go by, it will go ahead and give me the healing elixirs buff again. So then if I build up brew again, come on, yep. I know you're going to pop up very soon. Very, very soon. There you go. Pop it again, got healed again. As you can tell, if you really pay attention to the buff of your healing elixirs, this can heal you for quite a bit. Every 18 seconds, 55k. For me, it depends on your health pool, 15%. So the higher your health pool, the better. But still, it's going to heal you for actual 15% of your health. So it doesn't matter. If I have, 100,000 health, it's only going to heal me for 15k, but that's still 15% of my health. So healing elixirs is what I use against physical damage. The other spell I use for the defensive tier is Diffuse Magic. Diffuse Magic is a 1.5 minute cooldown, reduces all spell damage taken by 90%, and clears all magical effects on you, reversing them back to their original caster if within 40 yards if possible, and it lasts for 6 seconds. What this means is, whenever you pop Diffuse Magic, if say I have a Vampiric Touch from a Shadow Priest and a Shadow Word Pain, and I'm near him and I pop this, which would look like this, it will revert the dots back onto him and then reduce all magical spell damage I take by 90%. 90%. So against spellcasters, if it's an arena match and you get to see what the other team is, say I see Mage, Shadow Priest, and twos, I am instantly going to make sure I have this talent on. Because of the simple fact that, hey, I know I'm going to be able to reduce 90% of their damage when it's already up and revert some dots back to them. A little tip and trick, I guess you could say, for Diffuse Magic is if you see a priest who's casting dots onto you and you're already hitting him, and say you want him to actually, you're going to be killing him, and you're going to use Diffuse Magic right now, let him get the dots up, so then when you pop Diffuse Magic, it will revert the dots back onto him, and then he'll take extra damage. So, a lot of times I'll see someone pop it as the guy is casting the dot spells, I guess you could say, and then he will still get the dots on him. Yeah, they're doing 90% less damage, but that could have been extra damage onto the priest, where it would do full damage into him. So, make sure you're using that spell accordingly. Now, the last talent, I guess you could say, for it is obviously for the survivability tier, is Dampen Harm. And this is an instant 1.5 minute cooldown. And the spell read is, you dampen the damage from the most harmful attacks done to you. The next 3 attacks within 45 seconds that deal damage equal to 20% or more of your total health are reduced by half. Dampen Harm can be cast while stunned. Right off the bat, you're probably like, whoa, 50% damage reduction on the next 3 hits, whether it's physical or spell, awesome, I'm in. Gotta read it very carefully. Depending on your gear and health pool, this might not apply to you. Now, I am, full Malevolent with a lot of upgraded 2 out of 2. The problem with this is the simple fact that I have a really big health pool, and for me to get hit by one spell for 20% of my health, which would be, I have 372k, 10%, 37.2, 20%, 74.4. So I would have to get hit for 74,400 or higher damage for it to actually proc one of the uses on Dampen Harm. Now that rarely happens in BGs or Arena. It does happen here and there, but it's very, very, very slim chances of it happening. Now, the simple fact of the matter is, do people ever hit that hard? Yes, but the problem is, usually it's 2 or 3 spells combined. When the Shadow Priest does a Mind Blast and a Shadow Word Death, where the combined damage is 100k, they may have been split 60,000, 40,000, something like that, where it's not all in one hit. So with my gear setting, dampen harm is not the way to go. If you are freshly geared 90 and you're trying to gear out and you're coming across people that are just, wrecking you pretty quickly, this might work for you. So go ahead and give it a shot. Also, being used while stunned, you can use this while the deep freeze is on you, where you're like, oh, this mage is about to crit me for like all my health. You can go ahead and pop it while stunned, and you will take the dampen harm effects if it's over 20% of your health. So use that one wisely, and also check your gear. Check and see how many times it actually does get used, and then make your choice from there. So with me right now, if I'm against spellcasters, I'm using diffuse magic. If I'm against, physical damage, I'm using healing elixirs. So that's the survivability tier. The next one I'm going to talk about is the level 90 tier, and this is like our, I guess you could say, cool final tier talents. First one I'm talking about is Rushing Jade Wind. Rushing Jade Wind is 2 chi, 30-second cooldown. Let's actually go ahead and learn that spell. Put that in the toolbar. Okay, and what it is you summon a whirling tornado that travels 30 yards in front of you, dealing 28,600 nature damage to all targets in its path, and increasing damage taken by your spinning crane kick by 30% for 8 seconds. When you're a Brewmaster, it causes shuffle when cast, and Mistweaver increases healing done by your spinning crane kick by 50% for 12 seconds. This is not really used for Windwalkers in PvE or PvP because of the simple fact that Zoom the White Tiger is much better, but this does actually have some cool uses. I'll just show what it would look like. First, I gotta get some chi. Okay, so, and this is one of those where I have to aim it. I can't just be like, oh, go after this guy. I have to aim it at him. So, I aimed. Flying at him. See, he's got the debuff. Now, when I spinning crane kick, see how it's critting for 27k on this one, the skull, but not on X? It's because this one had the debuff. So, that's how it works. For it being such a lengthy cooldown, I don't really find the use for it, especially as a Windwalker, but I could see why it'd be used by other ones. The next one we'll talk about is Chi Torpedo. Chi Torpedo completely replaces roll. It's not a bad thing, it just changes the animation. And what Chi Torpedo actually does is you torpedo a distance in front of you, dealing 17,400 nature damage to all enemies and 18,000 healing to all allies in your path. Now this is pretty cool. I've seen a lot of people use this while leveling, and I don't blame them because it's actually really good. If I go ahead and I'll show you what Chi Torpedo looks like. As you saw right there, it did the heal for me. So that was a 20k heal, and it did it right there, and then it does it again. So right there, that was 22,000 and 20,000, so 42,000 healing right there. So that's how it is, and it's, for leveling, that combined with celerity is really awesome because you could do 3 Chi Torpedoes. So bam, 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 real quick, and you just healed up for, if mine did 20k each, 60k. So that's something really good for leveling, but overall I love Invoke Zoom the White Tiger, and I'm going to show you why. Invoke Zoom the White Tiger is our big cooldown. Actually, I got a macro for him. Okay, yeah. Invoke Zoom the White Tiger is our 3-minute cooldown and 40-yard range instant cast. It invokes the White Tiger Celestial, Zoom the White Tiger. You'll see him in MOP as you're leveling up, and what he does is, when you pop him out, he'll attack whoever you're hitting, and also do an AoE dealing 70,650 damage over 5 seconds, and he lasts for 45 seconds. If you're a Brewmaster, Zoom will also taunt the target, forcing it to attack him, so it kind of is a nice cooldown for tanking as well, because he'll absorb a couple hits. Now, the key thing about Zoom the White Tiger that a lot of people overlook or do not know is the simple fact that he is based off of your current damage increase, whether it's from attack power, agility, Tiger Eye Bruise stacks. So to make the most out of him, I highly suggest you pop him with your Tiger Eye Bruise stacks and a Trinket proc, weapon procs, and on uses. So I'm going to build up my 10 stacks of Tiger Eye Brew and show you what his damage readout will be. Just building up 10, which actually is pretty quick now. It used to be a little bit lengthier, but I can build up 10 in a very short window. Alright, so there's my 10 stacks. So right now, as you see, his damage rate is 70,650. I'm going to wait a couple seconds and let my internal cooldowns on a couple procs come back up, and then hopefully I can get a few of them. And I'll read the damage readout of them once all those are popped. So right now you see it's 70,650. So let's go ahead and start hitting him. Alright, I got one. Let's go ahead and pop all this. Right now, as you see, his damage readout is 124,290. That went up 50,000 damage. And that's just with Tiger Eye Brew and one on proc Trinket. If I had my weapon steals, like right now they just procced as well, but I lost one of the other buffs, 102,000. He does more damage the more damage you're doing. So when you pop all these together, it can be some crazy damage. As you see, he's not doing any like ridiculously high numbers, but a 15k dot crit, and this is AoE, so he could just cleave a lot of damage where you can switch targets and he'll follow you and you can kill a target pretty quickly as well. So that's Zoom the White Tiger. He's by far my favorite level 90 talent. I mean, look at that. Look how awesome that skin model is. Oh, and he's gone now. But 45 seconds lasts pretty well. They were a pretty good time. So he is definitely my favorite level 90 talent, and I feel he is the best to be used for Windwalkers in PvE and PvP. So that's going to wrap up for this part of the Intro to Windwalker Monk guide. This is the first part, and this one was just covering talents. I will be updating and uploading more parts, including, the glyphs, how to gear, spell use, and all that. So stick around for that part, and I'm going to go ahead and just cut this off here. See you in the next bit. Alright guys, now it's going to wrap up the first installment of this new Intro to Windwalker Monk PvP guides. If you did enjoy it, please like, favorite, subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. And a little bit more info about this series is you can be expecting to see part 2 in around 2 to 3 days. I plan to upload every part following up every 2 to 3 days. So this will hopefully be done in around a week and a half. So please be active in the comments below. Tell me what you thought and any suggestions or something you may have missed. Ask it there, and I'll be sure to try and cover it in the next vid, or I'll reply in the comments directly. So this is Ravedge saying thanks for watching, and hope to see you in the BGs.